I really like this new piston bolt station. It's right next to the portal, and we now have a very big panel. We used to have a small panel with only a few locations, so we had to use this here to encode all the locations manually. But now it's not really needed because we can put everything here. And if we select a location, the signal is sent down and we have a ROM below the whole thing, where all the locations are stored. And this piston bolt station is still compatible with stack minecarts, so we can use it to send a lot of items to different farms and to send different items from the farms into here, the main storage. On this side we also have a very cool box display with a bunch of useful items like rockets, food and armor. Like the usual display, it will break the box when it's empty. But as you can see here, we don't have any pistons to break the box, and it's actually quite cool how this works. So we'll just empty this shulker box, and here we'll see that the pistons are sent with a conveyor and then it breaks the box, and we have the new one. And we also have some space here for more stuff in the future. As you may have seen in the background, we also decided to break the bedrock in this perimeter. We already had the roof broken for a while, and we also decided to break the floor. And since it's a big circle, we had to break a square which is larger than the perimeter and then fill the rest with bedrock. So now we have a very big space to decorate, and hopefully the decoration will come soon. Right now we just have a Chronos logo and that's basically it. Okay, now let's go to the next location, which is the pearl cannon here. So we'll just use this new panel, and once we hear the ding, we can go in the minecart. I haven't been very active this last few months, and I've only started playing again a few days ago. But I wanted to make a short video because today is the 5-year anniversary of the Chronos server. And I thought it would be a good opportunity to go through some of the projects that we did this year, even if I didn't contribute to all of them. I don't want to show you everything because I still want to make dedicated videos for some of the project, but for other stuff that I'm not comfortable enough to make full videos about, I think it's a good idea to show them today. So this is a pearl cannon that was mostly designed by Bread and based on all the designs. It can be used to go up to 632,000 blocks away. And I don't want to try explaining these things, so I'm just gonna show you how it looks. And I'm gonna link the showcase video that Bread made in the description. And I can't show you the cannon in action because it's not working in 1.21. The next two farms that we're gonna see are mob farms. And I actually want to make dedicated videos about those farms, where we'll show how they work and also how we build them. So in this video I will just show you the farm and basically explain how they work, so it won't spoil too much for the future videos. In the meantime, we can experience this amazing decoration designed by Obi, which is setting up the tone for what the next farm is gonna be. Let's take a look at this decoration because it's very good looking, and it's probably one of our best piston bolt decoration, at least piston bolt station. And we also have water in the nether, which is always nice. And now let's go to the overworld side and check out the farm with the decoration. This decoration has been designed by Max, and it's basically a big wall of rocks and trees all around the farm. And because the perimeter is voided, we don't have a floor. And I think it's a very cool use of this type of pattern, which we've never used before in our server. And down below we have the spider farm, which was designed by Floppy, Rongo, and I also helped a bit stacking the farm and with the water collection. This is a down axle farm, which means the mobs spawn on the platforms and they are pushed down with the slime blocks and killed here on top of the spikes. And then the items are collected and sent into the storage with water stream. And like most of this type of farm, we have the same module stacked a bunch of time in the despawn sphere around the player. So this is a circle of 128 blocks. And so this way we have as many spawning spaces as we can, and we can have the fastest farm possible without using the nether. And as I've said before, I'm not going to go into much detail for this farm because I will have a dedicated video explaining this farm and also the next one that we're going to see. So let's head there. We also have a general mob farm to farm everything but the spiders. This farm was mostly designed by Rongo and was built recently, so we don't have a decoration yet. But like the spider farm, it's a down axle farm, so the mobs will spawn up here and they will be pushed down and they will die down below. And his farm is not even fully done because at the moment it doesn't even have a storage. So all the items just end up here in this water stream. So when this farm will be entirely finished, I will be able to show it working, and hopefully by this time we will have a nice decoration. For the next farm we also have a new piston bolt, and this one is very big and open, which is cool because it feels different than the other piston bolts. And I think it makes it kind of obvious what the next farm is gonna be. And so this particular piston bolt was designed by LOL, and we can quickly take a look before checking the farm. It obviously has a lot of hay bales, and we also have a nice truck on this side. I think the farm is currently running because we need a lot of hay bales. And so we have this design by Just Look, which is not new. We had this in the end for a while actually. This one was updated when the cat eating came out, but this was still a while ago. And so we have 4 towers of I don't know how many modules, but it's quite fast. And we also have a big perimeter like the usual, which in this case is very useful because it has a lot of villagers. And we have this perimeter in a very special shape. I don't know if any of you can recognize what this is. If you know, you can let me know in the comments. But yeah, sometimes it's nice to have a decoration that is a bit simpler, like this one. We just have a pattern and black concretes for the walls. And yeah, for example, this farm doesn't really need a full video on it because it's a very simple farm. We just have a lot of modules, but it's still a lot of effort to build something on this scale. And actually the nether decoration is very nice, so I wanted to show it in this video. And if you're wondering about the storage, I believe that it's in the nether, so we can check it. So yeah, we already have one slice entirely full. And like we usually do, we have dug some space around the part that is chunk loaded, so we can reduce the lag. And we now can also use water in the nether to transport the items, which makes it a lot easier. And those hay bales will be mostly used for decoration and also for tiger block. We've been in this perimeter once before, but at the time it was still empty. Now we have 4 witch huts with 4 farms, but this is not the usual quad witch hut farm. We decided to use this location to also farm some potions, because you can farm up to 4 different potions with witches, depending on how you kill them. And so you can either use fire to kill them, and so they will drop a fire resistance potion. You can also use water, they will drop a water breathing. And we also have 2 other different potion types, which are potion of swiftness and instant healing. And that's why we have those villagers and pillagers here. The witches are killed in the overworld, and then we have the storage in the nether. The next project we're gonna check is one that I started working some time ago. The farm is almost entirely working, but we're still working on the decoration, and I want to wait until it's finished before releasing the video. And this project is obviously a flower farm. This is probably the only project where I designed most of the logic to make the farm work, and I'm quite happy with the result. So I'm not gonna show you too much in this video, but I can show you that we did some mining around the perimeter to make a very large decoration. And I think it's gonna be one of my favorite decorations on the entire server because it's very unique and very different from the usual decorations, and it's also gonna be quite big. So yeah, that's the only thing I want to show you for now. This is all the flower farms and the moss farm at the top with some of the logic, with the storage in the nether like most of our farms. And just to give you some numbers, this will be enough to farm around 2.5 million flowers per hour. For the last location, we're gonna use this bear stasis because it's a bit far away. And this is Geode Farm. So let's head there and see how it looks. The farm is not done yet, but we have started working on it. Okay, so we are at the location. And yeah, we can see we have a very small part of the farm, which is quite big actually, but compared to the entire perimeter, it's not a lot. So we have this very large location, which is bigger than most of the Geode Farm locations. It's going to be a very big farm. I don't think it's entirely designed at the moment, that's why we just built a very small one. We built this small section of the farm because we needed some amethyst, and even though it's not a big farm, it's still faster than the one we had previously. So this is just to get us started before we make the big farm. So that's it for all the projects that I wanted to show in this video. And that's not everything because I don't want to spoil all the projects that we worked on. So if you want to see everything, you will have to stay tuned and look out for the next videos. There is actually one last location that I wanted to show in this video, because even though I already made a video about it, I think it's worth sharing again. Because this was finished this year and this is the biggest project that we ever worked on. This is the decoration for the world border gold farm. And yeah, I think it's worth sharing again. This is the overworld part of the gold farm, so there is only the collection on this side. But there is also the nether side, and last time I've shown the nether side, it wasn't decorated. But things have changed since then, and I think this will be, again, a topic for another video. And just for fun, let's have a quick sneak peek at the decoration. Okay, so that's it for this video. I just wanted to make something simple to showcase some of the things we worked on this year. I believe that Obi will make a cinematic video. If so, I will share it in the description. And I will see you in the next one for more Chronos videos.